Now let's get back to today's hearing about who is ultimately in control of the California National Guard. For more on that, we want to bring in legal analyst Royal Oakes. So Royal, you've been helping us navigate all of this since the very beginning. We really appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning, Lynette and Adrian.
Okay, so let's talk about what led up to today's proceedings. How did we get to this point? Give us some of that perspective.
Yeah, last week, Governor Newsom filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump, and the suit essentially said there's no legal basis for sending troops to California. Donald Trump responded, and Donald Trump lost. The trial court judge in San Francisco said Newsom is right. And then the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals got involved, and they said, we're putting that ruling on hold. We're going to have a hearing at high noon today, Tuesday. And I've read the briefs from both sides, and I got to say, these gentlemen don't agree on anything. Governor Newsom says, OK, you have to have a rebellion to justify troops. There is no rebellion, but Trump says, yes, there's a riot. You see from the governor the idea that he was supposed to ask me and get it cleared with me. And Trump says, no, that was no requirement. And finally, Newsom says, you can't use the military to do police work. And Trump's answer is, we're not answering 911 calls. We're just protecting federal property. So a lot of issues for the Ninth Circuit to sort out today at noon.
So those are the main arguments. If you're a betting man, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's really interesting what happens in the Ninth Circuit. They've got 29 justices, most of them appointed by Democrat presidents, some by Republicans. But they pick the three to hear this case at random. And guess what? Two of the three are Trump appointees who are out of the Federalist Society. One of the three is a Biden appointee. She was an organizer for the Service Employees Union, and she felt that if Kavanaugh were confirmed on the Supreme Court, people would die in the streets. So you have a healthy difference of opinion among these three judges. Now, regardless of who wins among the three, the loser may say to the Ninth Circuit, we want the entire Ninth Circuit to get involved. That would help the chances for Newsom. But whoever loses at the Ninth Circuit, they get to go up to the U.S. Supreme Court and see if they're willing to take the case.
Do you think that's going to happen? If it could ultimately go there, do you think it will go to the Supreme Court?
I think it will in this sense. Let's face it, whoever loses, Trump or Newsom, at the Ninth Circuit is going to say, I want to roll the dice and give it a shot in Washington, D.C. But here's the problem. The Supreme Court, unlike all the other lower courts, doesn't have to take a case. And the Supreme Court, even though 6 are conservative and 3 are appointees by Trump, they don't like to be seen as the handmaiden for Donald Trump. And so they've ruled against him in a lot of cases. They've refused to take cases up from him in many situations. So there's no guarantee that they're going to be ready and poised to help Donald Trump in this controversy.
So in the meantime, the troops stay in place in Los Angeles.
Exactly. Not only the National Guard, but the Marines as well. Even the federal judge who ruled for Newsom last week said, yeah, it's okay for the Marines to stay, at least for now. So we're going to get some decisions maybe during this noon hearing out of the Ninth Circuit, or more likely shortly thereafter. But then it's like a yo-yo up to the higher level of the Ninth Circuit to the U.S. Supreme Court, back and forth. Seems like it never ends.
Legal analyst Royal Oakes, once again, thank you so much for your insight. We'll be talking again soon.
You bet.